Last time on Link's War. No, I'm not doing a recap. I will never do a recap for this series. It doesn't deserve a recap. This character right here on the right, I'd like you to pay attention to him for a sec. This is Prince Ryan, and you'll find that out in a minute. Spoilers, you get him later in the game. Now you may be wondering why I'm telling you this at the beginning of an episode for no particular reason. You'll see. Just remember him. He's 4 years old. This is gonna get bad. It's gonna get horrendous later. By the way, he never makes another reference to pulling anything out of a stone, and no, it's not the Master Sword, thankfully. Can you imagine Prince Ryan being Link? That'd be kind of scary. Anyway, this boss right here, to the right if you haven't noticed, is the most pathetic Fire Emblem boss in this whole game. Probably in the whole series. You see, ladies and gentlemen, in the ROM hacking community, even though I'm not a very big ROM hacker, nor do I, you know, make any ROM hacks per se, I do know one or two things about balance, and this scene right here is retarded if you pardon me interrupting. You don't make a mage lord unless you balance the game properly at the beginning if you want to challenge your player. I'm not saying making it I want to be the tactician difficult here, but Zelda here, since she's a light magic, or just a magic in general, lord, would break the beginning of any Fire Emblem hack if left intact the way it was. At least from the majority of I played. So, higher res units, people, if you want to, they're not necessarily super high res just to make it difficult, but make them a little bit more beefier so Zelda here won't two-shot everybody. About the battle here, it is not very climactic by any means. I'm probably not going to comment on the battles at all for the first few chapters because they're nothing really special, nor do they require any planning outside of derp type advantage derp. This whole entire mod is really not that difficult, but Fire Emblem 8 itself wasn't difficult. The only reason I even put it on difficult mode was to try and give myself a little bit of a challenge later so I would have something to talk about. And here comes Lonk! Lonk. No, man. Just no. Lonk here is a mediocre unit when it comes to comparing Fire Emblem Lords. He is like a worse version of Eliwood, except he's a mercenary who promotes into a ranger. I guess that's trying to explain how Epona gets into this game, but when she's not even mentioned once throughout the whole entire game, whatever. Franz here is from FE8. Someone told me that later, except his armor was a different color, I believe, is what he said. This part right here is really the only mistake I make in the whole battle. It's not even really a costly one. Franz just takes a hit and he's able to survive it without dying, which is really my goal at the end of a Fire Emblem game. No one dies. That's really my main requirement when going through it. Later on, I may sacrifice one unit, and anyone who's ever played this mod will know exactly who that unit is, because I know what you guys are going to do as soon as you see him. And I absolutely despise every single one of you if you do so. Do it. I dare you. Anyway, got some Link action going on here, or Lonk action. I refuse to call this man Link. Child. Thing. Link. Link is a heroic, valiant, courageous figure, and a shining example of what people can or not do, if you want to get all philosophical and bullshitty like that. Lonk over here is a whiny bitch. Plain and simple. The most fanfic, I guess you could use that word, character I've seen in a while. Link's Queen, we are in full mode here. Except Jenna is Link. I am so disappointed in the writer of this story. It has no excuse. The mod itself gets horribly unbalanced later too because of her stupidity, so I'll just leave it at that. I'd rather not get into a ranting thing when I'm trying to keep this commentary uplifting and positive! Positive Link's War. Pick one. Link is just gonna mount or plow through the rest of this fighter here without any trouble at all. I'm gonna use Franz to take care of the last soldier, and then Zelda's just gonna light magic the boss to death with no ranged weapon. P.S. Put ranged weapons on your bosses, guys. Magic Lords will fuck them up otherwise. That's how you do Fire Emblem. Demoing, talking to other people. Yes, I'll be going for support conversations. I'll try to get as many as I possibly can, but I am not going to 100% this game, and there's certainly no way I'm going to be able to do it even if I wanted to because of Zelda's incomplete route. That is a blessing. I will be showing you as much as I possibly can from Link's route, but aside from that, I am not going to put that much effort into doing this run. The game is simple, the story is bad, and you're basically here to hear me bitch about everything. Or at least give a hammy type view on it. This is me checking if the boss had a ranged weapon, so I guess he's gonna get raped later, like I said earlier. Impa and Franz have a conversation, but Impa is never gonna see the light of day after a few chapters, alright? I'm just leaving it at that. There is one Jagan I may be using later, and he's from the original FE8. He is a extraordinarily badass unit that I think deserves a lot more praise than he gets. I will leave that unit's name to a blank until we get to that chapter. But aside from that, we are going to murder a poor, defenseless little lanceman who had no chance of surviving.